What if I told you that high self-esteem isn't necessarily about being smarter, more talented, or more successful? In fact, some of the people with the highest self-esteem fail all the time. The difference is how they explain those failures. Psychologists have spent decades studying self-esteem, and they've discovered something fascinating. People with healthy self-esteem don't just think differently, they interpret reality differently. Today, we are going to look at 5 psychological tricks that can help protect and strengthen your self-esteem, including one that almost every confident person uses without realizing. Trick number 1. Become your own public relations manager. One of the most powerful findings in psychology is called the self-serving bias. Here's how it works. When something good happens, people with healthy self-esteem tend to attribute it to internal factors. I got an A because I studied hard. I got the promotion because I'm competent. That presentation went well because I'm prepared and skilled. But when something bad happens, they don't automatically conclude they're worthless. Instead, they're more likely to consider external factors. The exam was unusually difficult. The interviewer wasn't a good fit. I didn't have enough time to prepare. Now, this doesn't mean refusing responsibility. That's important. Healthy self-esteem isn't delusion. The goal isn't to deny mistakes. The goal is to avoid turning every setback into evidence that you're fundamentally flawed. People with low self-esteem often do the opposite. Success becomes luck. Failure becomes identity. And that's a recipe for feeling terrible about yourself. Trick number 2. Separate your worth from your performance. One of the biggest traps people fall into is linking their value as a person to their competence in a specific area. Think about it. You fail a test, suddenly the thought isn't, I performed poorly on this test. It's, I'm stupid. You get rejected, the thought becomes, nobody wants me. Psychologists call this a discrepancy between competence and self-worth. The problem is that competence naturally fluctuates. Nobody is excellent at everything. Nobody wins all the time. But if your value as a human being rises and falls with every performance, your self-esteem will become incredibly fragile. Healthy self-esteem comes from recognizing I can perform poorly and still be worthy. You're not your GPA. You are not your salary. You are not your latest success or failure. Performance matters, but performance is not identity. Trick number 3. Watch out for psychological defense mechanisms. Here's where things get really interesting. When people feel a gap between who they are and who they think they should be, psychological discomfort develops. Psychologists call this a self-discrepancy. And when that gap becomes painful enough, the mind often creates defense mechanisms. For example, someone who feels insecure about their intelligence might constantly criticize other people's intelligence. Someone who feels inadequate may become extremely defensive when receiving feedback. Someone who secretly doubts themselves may overcompensate by bragging excessively. These defenses aren't signs of confidence. They're often signs that confidence is missing. Truly, high self-esteem doesn't require constant projection. It can tolerate criticism. It can admit mistakes. It can say, yeah, I messed up. Because the person's entire identity isn't threatened by being imperfect. Ironically, one of the strongest signs of healthy self-esteem is the ability to acknowledge weakness without feeling destroyed by them. Trick number 4. Change your explanatory style. Another huge factor is something psychologists call explanatory style. This is the story you tell yourself about negative events. Imagine you failed an exam. A pessimist explanation sounds like this. I'm dumb. I'll always struggle. This affects everything. Notice 3 things. It's internal, it's permanent, and it's global. Now compare that to an optimistic explanation. I didn't study effectively this time. I can improve. This is one setback, not my entire future. Same event, different interpretation, different emotional outcome. People with higher self-esteem don't necessarily experience fewer failures. They simply explain failures in ways that preserve hope and motivation. Trick number 5. Build evidence, not empty affirmations. A lot of self-esteem advice says, just tell yourself you're doing amazing. But psychology suggests something more effective. Give yourself actual evidence. Keep promises to yourself. Develop skills. Finish difficult tasks. Exercise consistently. Study when you said you would. Show up when it's inconvenient. Every time you do these things, you're sending yourself a message. I am someone who follows through. Real confidence is often less about positive thinking and more about accumulated proof. So, if you want stronger self esteem, remember these 5 ideas. Take credit for your successes. Separate your worth from your performance. Recognize unhealthy defense mechanisms. Develop a more optimistic explanatory style. Build confidence through evidence, not empty affirmations. Because high self esteem isn't believing you're perfect, it's believing that even when you're imperfect, you still have value. And that mindset changes everything. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more psychology and self-improvement content. And let me know in the comments, which of these 5 strategies do you struggle with the most?